Hey guys, been a little bit since I did a Joblot video, so I wanted to get back to that. There's still 3 of these large categories to cover, and then maybe dive into some of the random miscellaneous stuff at the end, and kind of work my way towards the completion of this project. It'll probably be a full year by the time I'm done with it. But today we're looking at modified bricks and the like that have been sorted out. I think at first I had these grouped in with the regular bricks category before it got full enough with regular bricks to separate even further down into these 2 separate ones. So modified bricks is going to include a lot of arches, a lot of round bricks, a lot of studs not on top, pretty much anything that is based on a brick, kind of standard size, but has some distinctions that set it apart from the regular bricks category. And there's quite a few to go through here. Somewhere in between, in terms of different part variety, it's going to be somewhere in between the regular brick, because that's, you know, pretty standard. You can't get too far away from your 1x, 2x, and then a couple of the larger sizes. But the slopes, much larger variety in that category once you start to look at compound slopes, inverted stuff. So I think modified bricks is going to be somewhere in between that, where it's a little bit more than your standard bricks, but not quite as many variations as slopes when you get to looking at those different piece types. Sorting the pieces. Alright, you guys know the drill at this point if you're in the middle of the Joblot series. Just kind of breaking it down into further categories and working out of the main bin. So starting with the largest ones, just getting those out of the way. And then I've got kind of a little separate pile for the garage door, slotted bricks. A few of these round kind of pillar pieces. The regular square ones ended up going with the regular bricks category. So these kind of a modified version of that piece, I guess, goes along with these. And then I started 2 bins for arches and round bricks. And it didn't take long for the round bricks to need a secondary bin for just the 2x2 size. And these are regular and grooved of that piece, which is pretty much full, but I think that's about all the ones that I need to sort out. So it's going to be pretty close to maxed level for those. Then I worked my way down to studs not on top, segmented hinge, some wedge bricks, and then I just started a little tiny thing for the hinged bricks, 1x2 with a pin. That kind of subsystem there has its own pile. As I go through, I am kicking out Technic pieces because Technic is a separate category. And I just tried to do a live stream that did not go well because I cannot stream on Wi-Fi out here. I have to get something either hooked up to Ethernet or just get something different altogether. Next step here is to go in and get something going for textured bricks, and then it'll probably take 3 or 4 more subcategories for some of these smaller groupings. Looking at the textured bricks, clips and the like, and then probably the small round 1x1 round, 1x1 cones will need a home, and there might be another kind of random pieces that need a separate category, but pretty much done with my different subgroups for sorting. Got the sorting done. Really nice tray that I just opened up. I actually bought this on my road trip. I think I was in Providence when I picked this up from a place called the Container Store. So it's actually designed to fit in a different unit, which I didn't buy because I had limited space in the car to haul it back here to Iowa. But I really like the different size options and the transparency. So I might pick up more of these. I might just have the one and let it float around, but Here I'm using it to store the textured bricks mostly, and a few of the slotted pieces. And you can kind of see the distribution here with our palisade is what these are called. Kind of got those little ridges, 1x4 and 1x2. Plenty of different colors here, even a couple of black and white palisade bricks, slightly more uncommon. I don't think I ended up with anything super rare color-wise, like color combination. I didn't even get any blue groove bricks, which is what I've been using in the hopper cars. So nothing really helping replenish those, but quite a few red, and also quite a few of the old grays. So old dark gray and old light gray. Getting these in quantity might be beneficial if I want to try to complete sets from that era, because generally if you have to go pick these on Bricklink or something, you will have to spend a little more for the older colors. I don't think the distribution is as large. Bricklink stores that sell high volume, I think for the most part, are putting pieces through the store by buying new sets and then parting them out. Just based on what I've seen on YouTube and around, it's a cost-effective way to run a Bricklink store, so I don't blame them, but you end up with a relative shortage of retired parts and colors, and so relative shortage in the market means you pay a premium for those pieces. Just a little side note about all that. The rest of the categories here I think I already covered before I was finished sorting, but I did end up with quite a few of the studs not on top. Going to be breaking those down for the count. Arch bin is pretty full. The rounds, 2x2 rounds, click hinges, or what did I call these before? All of this type of connection got its own bin. Wedge, again looking at some of those retired parts. And then this ended up being the miscellaneous one, kind of with the clips, bars, and even one of these old shutter 1x1x2 connections. Also putting in 1x1 round bricks, 1x1 cones, and similar to that, just in terms of a modified brick, what qualifies as a modified brick for this category. So from here it's just a matter of kind of breaking these down further, breaking these down by color and counting, and getting all that distribution. Simple enough at this point to probably still put things in Rebrickable, not looking at hundreds of different part categories, and even part categories that have colors. There's only 5 or 6 colors in there, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I did end up using Rebrickable here, and not quite finished, but I'm wrapping up the last subcategory that I had sorted out, which is the studs not on top category, and I have just entered 1x1 single studs not on top. So with the colors here, just getting that count. And the rest of them are right here. So this is what I have left to do, and then the 1x1 rounds, that should go pretty quick. Then I'll have those numbers. We'll check that out right at the end here, but I want to talk about this category in particular because it's causing some issues with my existing sorting framework. The headlight bricks, completely full. The 1x base, kind of this general category, I've actually got grouped 4 different types in the same drawer, and this is either going to have to go into overflow, or I'm going to have to break this into separate drawers now because this is finally full. And this has been at a tipping point for a while, but I haven't got the quantity in my recent parts hauls to push this over the edge. But that is definitely going to happen. Like this category right here, well, that's the headlight bricks. So there's almost an entire another drawer of those just right there. But then all of these double-sided 1x's, the Travis brick is a nickname for that one with all 4 sides and the top. And then the category that I just had on the desk is all supposed to fit in here, and that's definitely not going to happen. So something has to be done there. This drawer is the one that will probably be okay. This has got 1x2 single-sided and 1x2 double-sided, and those are here and here. So those will probably be okay. I think I can fit the rest of those in as we speak. But the 1x4, yeah, that one's packed to the brim. This one has an overflow somewhere. I don't know where. These are kind of some other sizes. Those, I don't think I got quite as many in from the Joblot. So I ended up with 3,082 pieces in this subcategory, which is higher than I expected for sure. But it still wasn't a huge chore to put them all in Rebrickable because it is a lot of main groups. So here's a whole run of 1x1 round bricks. So I did have to separate out the colors and count all those, but they're kind of consolidated. So there's a bunch of those. Just looking at main groups here, arches, quite a few, putting in some big ones, and then all the way from our 1x3s up to the 1x12 that are 3 high, and a bunch of them in between. Quite a few that are rare colors. This was only in the SpongeBob, what was that, Davy Jones set or something like that. So that has some surprises, and then of course getting to our retired colors is also going to help with those uncommon pieces. Moving on, we've got some larger round bricks, some domes here. So yeah, a couple more. Some of these domes are a different style. That's another thing I noticed going through, is how many different variants certain pieces have. Which, you know, variants of a Lego piece has been a thing long before Loki was popular. So that has the connotations from that show now. But yeah, when you start doing this inventory process, just to go on a little tangent here, that is something that if you want to be precise with your inventory, you have to look at that stuff. So another example would be down here at the cones. The cone piece itself has two very similar variants. The first one, the older one, does not have a ridge, and the current one has a small ridge around the top ring, so that when you insert this into the bottom of certain pieces, it doesn't become an illegal connection that puts stress on an element. So that was a small design change introduced, but even though I have blue cones here and here, one of those was from the older variant, and so I separated that out. And platforms like Rebrickable allow you to do that. So if Rebrickable didn't have the two different entry listings, then I would just dump them all in the current mold, even though it's not technically correct. And it's not like every piece has a variant, but definitely more than you would think. Even if you've been working with Lego for a long time, it might surprise you that this certain little clip element here, yeah, there's actually two different kinds of that. One of them has a solid stud, and one of them has a hollow stud. So just different things like that. It does add a little bit of time to the process, but not too much, and was still able to get all 3,000 pieces plugged in here. And even running into a surprise with this guy, like I put out in my shorts episode, where this actually has two subparts that can be disassembled by hand. Usually if a Lego piece is assembled in the factory, you know, aside from the torsos, which you can pop those arms out of the socket, that is not something you can take apart by hand, and if it is, it's generally a process that breaks the piece. But in that case, as I demonstrated in that little short video, you can actually make a new element by changing that slightly. So I'm going to sort this by the pricing quick, and I've talked in length about my assessment of Rebrickable's price estimate, but it is interesting to note which ones get a high mark on here. So the 2x2 macaroni in dark bluish gray is a rare element, only in 3 sets, but it's currently priced at $20. So slightly inflated value. I would give this maybe a $5 worth if you go to Bricklink and see what those are going for some reason. And it could be, I think this piece was largely used in the very recent Clone Wars Republic gunship. Let's just check really quick. Yeah, there it is. 14 of them were used in this. So for some reason that's driving the price up. If people are trying to part this thing out, then they're needing to get these 14 in this color. I'm pretty sure I got it from the Western Chain Chase. And actually I want to talk about this set because branching back into one of the previous categories and looking at some of these other rare pieces, I ended up with 2 of these red doors, which is actually a pretty rare color. It was in this train set, a Winter Village set, and one other Lego set. So only 3 sets have this red door. And Rebrickable price is 20 bucks. Bricklink is probably 5 to 10. And then a bunch of the other stuff in here, kind of rarer colors, not very common. The red train wheels. So most of the pieces from this set actually mixed in with my Joblot here, and that shows up in these little segments where I go through the cost analysis and look at those different things. So what else is up close to the top? This 4x4 black disc, and don't know why that's up there. A blue Travis brick. Yeah, some just kind of random pieces are up. This is the old gunship. Kind of up in the nose, it had this lime color, so that's a $3 piece. And there is the light gray macaroni one, the rare green inverted slope. So then you get some of those cones in there. So that's interesting to look at that. Some colors real quick. Didn't count the colors, but a good mix, good spread overall. Pretty happy. Actually really happy with the modified bricks. Modified bricks subcategory of my parts lot here. Let's go to some of the textured bricks that I was happy to get. I'm excited about those. Yeah, here we've got some of those Palisades. So one in white, that's a $2 piece almost. So these 1x4 Palisade bricks, and then here are my masonry bricks. Getting almost 40 more of these in the nugget color, and some dark tan, 30 of those, and then several light gray and dark gray. Some of the 1x2 Palisade bricks also coming in this lot. The white and the black, kind of harder colors to get there, but none of those colors ended up being rare. And then a bunch of these studs not on top, building couple of 1x2 sizes, and then we're back to our arches and rounds. So that's kind of an overview of this one. 3,082 pieces, 383 unique part and color combinations. Total valuation here is over 600 bucks. Probably knock that down to about 200, which is still about as much as I paid for all the pieces in the whole thing. So this just being a fraction of the lot, valued at the entire lot, still doing really good with the value. You know, when you put in the time and the work to get things cleaned up, and then list exactly what you have, of course it's going to be more valuable, and that's just a matter of inserting value into the lot by your work and your time on that side of things. I mean, Bricklink sellers do the same thing. They're actually seeing that return when people buy things from their store. I'm not necessarily seeing a return because I'm not listing these for sale. I'm just seeing that value go into my collection for the long haul. Eventually maybe selling some things, but also having all these pieces on hand when I decide I want to build something, maybe a set or a mock. I'm not having to go out and search on Rebrickable or Bricklink and make multiple purchases and orders just to grab a few bricks. Hopefully the plan is to have 95% of what I need on hand, and then that 5%, there's always going to be stuff I don't have that I'm going to have to go buy, but I can live with 5% of a build to outsource that. Yeah, getting a little long-winded here. Hopefully you guys found something interesting in this video. The Joblot plods on. There's more to cover here, so we'll be getting back into that in a while. Maybe putting one of these out every month, and then as we get back to October, try to wrap things up at the anniversary of the Joblot on the channel. So a whole year this has been going on. It's definitely been a back burner project that I just get to when I have the time and when I'm around to do it, because I have been on the road a bit this year. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. The modified bricks from the Joblot, and we'll see you in the next one.